everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Really exciting night. I just got a call from a friend and they told me that they have a 3 bottles of wine. They have a 1970 Mouton, they have a 1983 Lafite, and a 1996 Opus One, but they're not sure about the storage conditions. They're not sure if they're okay, but they've agreed to kind of open them. So I'm just off to the restaurant now and really excited to see the condition of the bottles and see how they taste. Trophy Wine Hunter. I'm looking at the wines right now. So the first one is a 1983. So the fill is not that bad. It's up on the quarter here. It's not that bad. It's, I'd say, upper shoulder. There is a little bit of leaking on here, but I think it should be okay. The 1996, that looks actually, the fill looks pretty good. Storage condition looks, you know, we'll see what happens. It was in normal regular conditions. This is the 1976. Again, there's a little bit of, you can feel a little bit of wetness on the cork here. So that's probably been sticky. So that's probably a little bit of leakage. It's upper shoulder. That's not too bad. And it looks like the cork is a little bit dry, but you will figure it out. Let's open it up and see how it goes. Okay, so we're gonna try to open the bottle right now. So it looks okay. So let's see what the cap looks like. You can feel a little bit of, there's a little bit of leakage on the cork, I can tell right away. So it's pretty sticky. It's generally not the greatest sign, but that's okay. Here. Okay. So if you see the top of the cork, there's a little bit of mold. That's actually good. Mold is good. That means it probably has sealed it. So if there was some leakage, that's okay. You don't see a wet cork, so that means there hasn't been leakage for a little while. Cork feels good. See how it goes. So we'll try and get it out this way, but the cork's crumbling already, so that's generally not a great sign, but let's see. Oh, maybe. Let's see. We might get the cork intact here. It's a little crumbly. No, didn't get it out. Almost got it out. Okay, so we got the cork out. Almost got the whole thing out. Cork, if you look at it, not that bad. It crumbled a little bit. It's a little bit soft, but not many cracks, not much oxidation, so I like it. So let's try it out. You see the color, little brown on the color. Let's try it out. No, it's not bad. The smell is, you got a little bit of Pauillac. Smell a little bit of cedar on this. Smell isn't bad. What you probably expect from a 70s, 76. It's quite oxidized, but it could be the vintage also. It's actually not that bad a bottle. It is probably pretty oxidized, but the vintage itself is going to be pretty oxidized. So not bad. So we had the 76 Mouton. So on the nose, a lot of like almost like a herbal nature. I got oak, I got a little tobacco. No fruit, of course. It's actually pretty decent for the, it's pretty decent bottle. 76 is a vintage, is really tough. It was really hot in the early part of the year, and then a lot of rain at the end of the year, so it's a really tough vintage. This is a pretty good bottle, I think. Yeah, I like it. It's got a little bit of, it's got no fruit in there, but it's got a lot of tobacco leaves, tea leaves, a little bit of mintiness I smell on the aromas. My rating is like 88 points. We're gonna try the 83 Lafite. So there's a little bit, again, stickiness. You can see even in my hand there's a little bit of stickiness on the cork, but that's okay. You can never tell with corks, so we don't know how it's going to perform. Fill is upper neck. That's actually pretty decent for 83. So let's try it out. 83 was a pretty decent vintage, but came after the spectacular 82 vintage, so tough to compare. But Lafite should be one of the best wines out there. There is, if you see on the cork, already quite a bit of leakage, so this might be a little bit of a more suspect bottle. We'll see. Let's open it up. It is pretty sticky, but like the last bottle, if it seals up around the cork, we're all good. So this one has not sealed up as well, so you can see there has been some residual leaking. This is newer. If you notice, the last bottle, it was kind of all kind of moldy. That means it was kind of solid or sealed up for many years. This one has a little bit more leakage. This is more recent. So let's see how this goes. Same, the cork is kind of splitting again, but I think this is even looser. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how much I can get out. So this is a looser cork than the 70. It's gonna be a tougher, you might have to use the ASO, but we'll see. I've split the cork, but let's see if I can get it out. I'm gonna do my best, get it out as much as possible. I can feel the cork ripping already, so I'm gonna rip half of it right now because I can feel it already. Cork is ripping, so I'm gonna get out half first. Let's restart it. So the key is once you feel the cork is kind of soft, you gotta restart. So now we've got half the cork out. Now we're gonna start it again and try to see if we can get some luck getting it out here. Almost out. Getting there. It's like surgery. Okay, let's try out the wine. I got out the cork. Let's try it out. Color is okay. It's a little bit oxidized, I would say. Yeah. Smell is classic Lafite. It's got the graphite. Love the oak. A little bit of acidity, which is not good, but it's okay. Could be just bottle stink. Let's try it out. A little bit oxidized. I don't think the condition is as good as the 76. But hopefully it'll turn around in the next little while. Okay, now we have the 96 Opus One. Comes right before the great 1997 vintage. 1996 was still a great vintage. This looks like a great bottle. Look at the fill. It's above mid-neck. Looks great. The label looks great. The cork looks great. So don't expect any problems with this. Clean cork, beautiful, no problems, no sign of oxidation, no sign of leakage. Yeah, look at the cork, looks beautiful. Beautiful. Look at the cork. We'll take it out. Very little sign of oxidation, just a little bit. That's very normal for a 1996. Smooth, still got elasticity in the cork. Beautiful. Let's try it out, 1996. A little bit of oxidation, that's fine. Color looks good, nice and clean. Oh, this smells good. I see the mint, eucalyptus, cedar, black plums. Oh, this is classic Napa. Wow. We got fruit. That beautiful herbaceousness of Tokalon comes out. Wow. Cedar, black plums, black currants. Off the night with the Leoville Las Cases. This is the 03. Look at the difference in color. It's this dark purple compared to normally. All the other ones we had were all amber, almost like brick. Look at this color. It's like purple. Of course, it's 03. Oh, it's all the fruits, right? Black currants, blackberries, black cherries, all fruit forward. All that black currant and black plums. It's beautiful. Cheers. I'm back from a magnificent trophy wine night and kind of just reflecting on the night. So we started with the 1976 Mouton Rothschild. I actually thought the storage was pretty decent. Not spectacular storage, but not that bad. The cork was actually very dry. There's a lot of mold on top, which probably helped seal in the wine. It wasn't too oxidized. The cork came out fairly decently in terms of the integrity of the cork. I would say average to below average in terms of the storage, but within acceptable standards. It was kind of almost like the low neck, but you know, still acceptable. The wine I thought presented fairly well. 1976 is a tough vintage. It generally should not be great. It was really hot in the beginning and then it rained. So a lot of these wines, even if you had really, really good storage, probably would not have a lot of fruit. It'd be a little bit tannic. And that's what I found with this wine. Not a lot of fruit. The aroma was actually quite nice. A lot of cedar, kind of tobacco leaves. Not a lot of fruit, but not really that oxidized. So I really enjoyed the aroma. On the palate, not much fruit. There's a little bit of leathery texture, definitely some leaves, tea leaves, tobacco leaves, but still within reasonable standards. And again, I rated it 88 points. Really neat wine to drink. And I think for most people who have never had old wines, you would think it's like 100 points. But I have to be fair. I mean, I've drank a fair bit of old wines and just compared to really, really good vintages. I don't think it was the storage. It wasn't fully oxidized. I would say the storage was okay, and the vintage is not really a long-lasting vintage. So again, pretty good bottle, I would say. In contrast, the 1983 Lafite is probably with Cheval Blanc, is probably the two best bottles of 1983 that you can have. So I had high expectations of this wine. Unfortunately, the cork showed a little bit more oxidation and leakage, so I could see it wasn't moldy. It was much more fresh in terms of the oxidation, and so I don't think the storage was as good, even though the vintage is better. And on the aroma, I had the pencil lead, the graphite, a little bit of cedar, and even a little bit of dried blackberry compote. And on the taste, I did get a little bit of dried dark fruit, and mostly some tobacco. I would rate this wine maybe 87 points, unfortunately. Both wines were fairly oxidized. We did not decant either of these wines, and they didn't really last that long. So probably 15-20 minutes in the glass. Comparatively, the 1996 Opus One I thought was in fairly decent condition. 1996 is a decent vintage compared to 1997, which is a spectacular vintage. But I really got the nature of Napa Cab, old Napa Cab. I thought they had a lot of herbaceousness, herbs, a lot of kind of cedar. And so that really came through. On the palate, I did still see fruit like black plums, blackberries. I did see that. And then more like a compote rather than fresh berries. And then the aftertaste had a little bit of, again, mintiness and leaves, which is fairly characteristic of old Cabernet Sauvignon from Napa Valley and Tocolon vineyard grapes. Texture was good, aftertaste was long, body was the mid palate was quite nice. And so if I had to rate that wine, probably 91, 92 points. And then we finished with Leoville Las Cases 2003. Of course, good condition, very fruity, lots of dark fruit. The experience of drinking an 83 Lafite or a 76 Mouton is amazing. It's just such a blessing to be able to drink these wines, let alone have the blessing of drinking them, these type of wines, multiple occasions each year. So really count my blessings. So this again points out the difference between the vintage and the bottle. Each bottle, particularly old bottles, you cannot generalize. You can't say, well, 83 is great vintage, 76, so it's going to be battle. Each bottle, when it's old wines, is a unique experience, and it's just a matter of through experience, you know what the wines are. So if you were just looking at ratings and just by the vintage, you say, well, 83 is way better than 76. But when you taste the wines, this was, in fact, I think a better wine because the storage was better. It just showed better. This one was a little bit weaker. So that's why there's a difference between theoretical and actual practical drinking. And it's really important to do practical drinking because you have the experience with these wines. So I really encourage people to take wines individually and not to generalize the wines. But all in all, wonderful experience, wonderful night. Anytime you get to drink old bottles of wine, no matter how they taste, it's thrilling. It's such a beautiful thing to be drinking for 76. That's what, 48 years or 49 years of age. Amazing, right? To have a wine last that long and still be drinkable. So I find it such a blessing that my friend was prepared to share this wine with me. So feel so fortunate to have these experiences. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, happy drinking.